Hi guys, I'm Dee, author of the Consumed by Heat series and one half of D&J.
And I'm Jay, the other half of D&J.
And this is D&J Book Chat. Welcome back to our channel. Now if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so that you can be notified when we post new videos. Today we'll be discussing the Audible Original novel When You Finish Saving the World by Jesse Eisenberg. Now this book or audiobook is a little bit difficult for me to explain what it is without literally spoiling the book. So let me just go ahead and read the blurb from Audible for you so that you can get an understanding what it is before we start dissecting it. So it says, from playwright, author, and Oscar-nominated actor Jesse Eisenberg, When You Finish Saving the World tells the moving and evocative story of three individuals working to understand each other and themselves. Nathan, a father learning to connect with his newborn son; Rachel, a young college student seeking to find her place in a relationship and in life before marriage to Nathan; and Ziggy, their son, a teenager hoping to figure out where he came from and where he's headed. The shifts between time frames in these characters' lives span more than a decade and eloquently capture the complexities of growing up, having children, and fitting in. So I believe that blurb greatly encompasses what's in When You Finish Saving the World, and as I said, it's available on Audible. It's an Audible original. So if you are an Audible Premium Plus member, or if you are a Audible member at all, you get access to this wonderful book for free. Well, if it's still available this month, I got it for free. So, perks of being an Audible member. So go ahead and click that link below and check it out. We're about to dive into our thoughts. It will be spoiler filled, so this is your spoiler warning. If you have not yet read or listened to When You Finish Saving the World by Jesse Eisenberg, go ahead and grab a copy. I'll drop the link below for you. Give it a listen. It's a moderately short read. It's 5 hours and 17 minutes if you listen to it on the regular speed. And you get finished with it, and you can head on back over to us and join into the discussion below. All right, that was your spoiler warning. Now let's dive into our thoughts. All right, James, as usual, we're going to start with you. Go ahead and let us know what you thought about When You Finish Saving the World.
Right. I think that this book is it's a good listen. I will admit it's a good listen. It got me engaged for most of the book. It does. I really like it. It's really interesting, and yeah. There's so basically what I can go with is that it started off with Nathan. I love his part of the book, his session. I love that fact. I can say that I actually relate to Nathan just a little bit in terms of what he's going through, married and all those other stuff. So I can relate to him. With Ziggy, maybe not so much because, in his part it was like the 2032 or 2033, so he's a high schooler. I'm no longer, as you can see, I may be young, but I am very, very old in the head, so I can't really relate to I can't relate to Ziggy that much. And but it was kind of, it took a while to kind of warm up to him because he's keep on saying a lot of strange things which you would assume that it's
the language of his timeline,
suspected timeline, which is not a bad idea. I don't think that in the real world that the 2032 in the book is going to be the same for the 2032 in the real world. So who knows? My least favorite part of it all is the Rachel.
You would say that.
Huh?
You would say that, but I'll address that when it's my turn to talk.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is one of the things that Rachel part was good for what it's worth. It's spoke about her ex-boyfriend that Ziggy was named after, and there was a lot of reference throughout the ex, which in my and the whole serving his country, with all that was good, and I couldn't relate to it because
you're not a woman.
That's one. And two, I didn't have a loved one that joined the army and didn't come back from it. So I think it's with other people that...
Spoiler alert. Yeah, spoiler alert. He just gave you the biggest spoiler of the book. So, hopefully you took the warning and you already went and listened to the book.
Listen,
yeah, sorry.
When during my thoughts is going to be spoil filled. I am not going to hold back. I'm telling you what I thought of the book and whatnot. So yeah, so in
Sprinkle them spoilers.
No, I lay heavy with the sprinkle, but anyway. So yeah, yeah, so basically with Rachel part, it does go towards that. So it really wasn't, her part wasn't for me. I think what I would have loved, both Nathan and Ziggy mentioned the whole fact that, Rachel can be a complete female dog. You know what I mean?
I didn't get that, but okay.
Well, yeah, it's like Nathan. Sorry, I'll tell you. So Nathan was basically saying that she's nice to everyone, but then wasn't nice to him.
I didn't get that, but continue.
That was the part when I got the argument.
His view. Okay, I got that. I'll
reach it when you're part. Mm-hmm. Second part was with Ziggy, basically was mentioning, she treated them bad,
She treated him like a parent. He's a kid. That's what all teenagers think their parents are the evilest.
Okay, fine.
All teenagers believe their parents are like a bane of their existence.
I would have liked if they basically put it from Rachel's perspective in terms of the with her family than to get the ex-boyfriend.
All right, so I don't agree with that. I think that it told a good story. I think that the storyline progressed as it should, because I'll just start right there because that's the last point you made. I appreciated the fact that they focused on Rachel with her ex-boyfriend, because that's what made Rachel into who she is. That's what made her how she was. So it gave you an understanding of why she was how she was and how that affected her family. And besides, Nathan already went through how life is with her, so it would have been like a complete repetition and probably boring if he had just stuck with how she was with her family. It gave us an insight into how her head worked, what trauma she went through, because no one else could have spoken to her trauma than her, because she doesn't talk about it a lot. So I think I appreciated that part, and I actually related to Rachel because, hey, I am also a wife. I don't have kids yet, but I understand what she's going through, where sometimes when Nathan thought that she was being mean to him, she wasn't, but they just had a child, and she felt like she was carrying large bulk of the workload, and that can be very, very, very frustrating and annoying, and it does make you a grumpy person because you have all this stress on you and your husband isn't carrying his weight. That's how she felt. So it did, and that's why I appreciated when they were going through counseling in Nathan's part, and the therapist basically told them that, listen, he told they went together. In the beginning, they went together to therapy, and then he did the recordings on his own. So this book, good segue, this book is basically told through tape recordings, and I thought that was so cool, but I'll get back there. Back to Rachel.
I like that too.
So yeah, I understood, I related to Rachel so hard.
True.
It's like Yeah, through both the parts. I related to Rachel so hard. You got an understanding. In the beginning, you got a picture painted of Rachel. I understood even when Nathan was going through his part and saying how she treats everyone else kind, but he doesn't. I knew, I got it. I was like, no, it's not that she doesn't treat you kind. When he spoke about the stuff she does, you got that she was a good person, but you also got that their relationship was strained because she wanted him to connect more with their son, and to help out more with their son. And he couldn't. I'll jump onto Nathan in a second. He couldn't. And that frustrated the hell out of Rachel. It made her feel like she was in it by herself. And I've been there. Feeling like you're in a relationship and you're doing everything by yourself is a scary place to be, because it puts so much stress and frustration on you that you become grumpy. So your husband or your partner feels as if you don't really care, and you're just trying to frustrate them, but you're not. It's like you feel like you're alone in the world. You get lonely in your relationship because you're doing everything, and it's a very, very, very rough place to be. So I understood and I related to Rachel so hard. I appreciated the fact that we got a glimpse into her trauma, as I told you, because you see that her first love was in fact her ex. And we all knew this. We all knew this from the jump because Nathan said it. And he enlisted, but after 9/11, he wanted to make a difference. He wanted to help out the country of his birth. So him and their friend, enlisted, and we follow her in the end. We follow her sending tape recordings back and forth, which was so cute, in a subway. And so you understood that she said subway
restaurant.
Oh yeah, in the subway restaurant, not the subway train. I don't know. I'm sorry, not the train, but in actual subway with the sandwiches, the bread and the vegetable and the tuna and the tuna melts, and yeah. So in actual subway restaurant. Yeah, but I got to understand her so hard. So she went through this. So she gave her heart wholeheartedly to this man, and then he died. So she struggled. You don't have to understand that being in a new relationship, learning to love again, would have been a struggle for her. And she felt that guy was God's gift to her, to mankind. He sacrificed himself for the country, and then to be in a new relationship and have your husband not pulling his weight, it's like you're in the back of her mind. You're probably been thinking that, yeah, my ex sacrificed his life for the country, and you can't even make a sacrifice for your family. So all of that could have been playing a part into her psyche when she was. And then Ziggy's perspective of her was basically because she wanted the best for Ziggy. Ziggy was a spoiled child. She was a humanitarian. Ziggy was making money as a teenager, man. He lived in the future. He's in 2023, was or 2032?
2032.
I think it was 2032. I don't remember. Don't quote us on the year. But yeah, he was talented. He was a musician. So he felt like his parents, just like all teenagers, he felt like his parents didn't get it. They didn't understand. They were just out to ruin his life. He made fun of the stuff that we do today. So like his dad owned a photocopy machine with his with a photocopy business, sorry. With his friend at the time, and he is like, yeah, okay guys, so yeah, today we're gonna take your picture from one paper and transfer it to another paper, because like, so he was ridiculing. I found that so entertaining. He was ridiculing the stuff that we do today. So it's like, yeah, it makes you think our kids in the future are going to be ridiculing what we do. They called the driving that we did free driving, because it's in the future. They don't do that anymore, and they don't eat real meat anymore. So they made a whole big thing about actually eating meats, the smelling the flesh cooking for the first time, and
meats like cloning meals without bones or anything like that.
Right. So they have this whole new food system where they have manufactured meats in the factories. So they don't use what we do anymore. So eating too much of our old type meats, even though they have like those meetings and go there, they get them sick. So yeah, that was fun. And then Nathan, I also enjoyed Nathan's part the best of the book. Not because I related to him, because I'm not a guy, but I got what he was going through. From his perspective, and it was told really well. I don't know if it was because Jesse wrote the script and Jesse played Nathan, but I think that his part was portrayed really well. Not putting down any of the other two narrators. Y'all did a bomb job. So yeah, I really, really think that Nathan really embodied the perspective. At one point, though, I started wondering if Nathan was autistic, because with autism, you struggle to you are unrelentingly honest. You tell the truth regardless, and you struggle to understand other people's feelings and to portray your feelings. So I started when I was reading through this book. Jay had already was already halfway through, and so I asked him, Jay, is Nathan autistic? And he said no, it wasn't stated, but I picked up an autistic vibe from him, and it made me putting that in my brain made me sympathize and understand him more, because he was such a brilliant mind. He was such a brilliant mind, yet still to him he was never doing enough, right? And it's that part I could relate to, that he was so brilliant, he was good at what he did, and he couldn't understand why other people expected more from him. He went to work, he provided for his family, he was doing everything he was good at, yet still somehow he still felt it wasn't good enough. So that part I could relate to. And yeah, I don't know, I could go on and on about this short 5-hour book, but it's really enlightening. It opens your brain. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. And it, even though it is 5 hours, it doesn't feel like that. It felt really short. I think the only thing that got it so long was the Rachel part, where it kind of dragged, for me at least. But yeah, it was a really good book. I enjoyed it, and I got a lot of stuff from it. And yeah, and this book does the audio does cover the fact that when you have a child, your child will have a piece of the father and a piece of the mother.
Yeah, and also I really liked it too, because in Nathan, a lot of people, when a child is involved, when someone has a child during a pregnancy, they focus on the mother more. You get, you understand the mother may go through postpartum depression, and they focus on that more so the father. But in this audio, you got an insight in what goes through a father's brain when a new child is born, how they struggle to, the mother gets 9 months to bond with the child in her tummy. The father doesn't. The father goes on unknowing, all unsuspecting. He doesn't know what to expect when the child comes. So it gives you an insight into his brain, and I really enjoyed getting that view. It's not explored a lot in fiction, so I really enjoyed getting an understanding of what a man could possibly be going through, and the struggles he could get about connecting with his child.
And I disagree with the point that you just made, that the mother does in fact get the whole 9 months with the child. But I think if the father is around, the father does get a part of that part.
Yeah, but it's different. It's a different connection. Like, you have, as a woman, you have this child, this whole new life form building in you, and it's just scientific. Your hormones and everything that's being emitted, everything that you're eating is sharing with the child, your endorphins. It's just different. I don't know how to explain it because I've never been a mother, but I can just assume that it's just different. Like, the bond that you create with your child inside of you, growing inside of you, being a part of your body, a man doesn't get to experience that. So I can get that this may be how some men are affected, how some men go through. Just like, it may not happen to everybody. Just like some women go through deep depression after they give birth. Some men may actually, it gives a new meaning now to parenthood, because the man could actually be going through his own trauma from having a child. So yeah, something to think about.
Thank you. Now, I know for a fact the way that you've been talking, that you're going to give it a good review. So let's go ahead and give our star ratings.
Do you want to go first?
I asked first, so I guess you go first. I'm already set on mine.
Okay, well, I think for this book, I am going to give it a 4.5. I really enjoyed the book. It did keep me motivated. I wasn't wowed in all of it because I did get a little bit confused in some of Ziggy's portions. Maybe because they were isn't set in the future and I didn't really understand all the language he was saying. I could follow it from context, but it just when it first started, it picked up. His section did pick up when it first started. I got a little bit distracted or pulled out of the story, and then I got back in. So for that little dip, I'll give it a 4.5.
All right. I guess what I understand what you're saying. Even the ending for sorry, before I get into that. So my rating is going to be a 3.5. And the reason why it's that it really did well between the first two sessions, and then it kind of dipped because I wanted the book to go another route. But yeah, that's just me. I did get that kind of same feeling with Ziggy in terms of, he was puking and at the end someone came on the outside. Like, was that because he felt like it was his mother carrying him out, but apparently it was the girl.
Mother. It was I think her name was
The girl that
I don't remember her name. But it was the girl that he was interested in. But because it was something that his mother would have done, he saw his mother. He was looking at the girl he really liked, but he saw his mother.
Yeah, we all know what's going to happen in his future, but yeah. So basically, that's 4.5 from you and a 3.5 from me, and overall that's going to be 4 from D&J. Wow, you should make me take over the whole description then. Just putting it out there.
Alrighty. You can do whatever you want to do, baby. That's responsibility for me. Go, bye. Take it. But yeah,
That's
so
so wrong. I don't want to take it. No.
So yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining in onto this video with us. We hope that you enjoyed this book as much as we did. Let us know below if you did. If you didn't, let us know why. Let's start a discussion in the comments. Drop it below and hit that like button if you liked this video. Go ahead and show us some love. And again, what should they do, babe?
Subscribe and continue listening to my wonderful voice.
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and ding that bell so that you'll be the first persons to be notified when we upload. Thank you so much for tuning in to D&J's Book Chat, and until next time. Bye, guys.